Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Welcome to Friday Night Life. I'm Alon.
This Walsh.
So we're like 32 hours from Game Week 1 kickoff right now. How are you feeling about your team? How do you feel about FPL in general in this moment?
Mess. I feel like a mess.
It is
it's
very messy.
Nervous wreck, mess, anxiety, stress, everywhere.
I completely shut down today. I had a nightmare of a day. Yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to like this pod, get ready for it, watch NFL, boom, bang out a pod, team confirmed, stream on Friday, and then today, just like nightmare. Didn't get out of bed. I was just like, fuck me,
didn't show up on Discord for 1 second until gambling started.
Yeah, until then I was very lively. But yeah, so just admin before we dive into the most questions we've ever got for any single episode ever is Twitch stream tomorrow, Friday, probably late afternoonish, New York time. Just like chatting FPL, looking at teams. If you're someone who's in our Discord, I want to have people join me, like a radio show or whatever. So you can just hop on, hope to see you there, etc. And then also, we said this last episode, but I guess it wasn't clear. These Thursday night / Friday episodes are going to be Patreon only after this episode. This will be the only free one. It wasn't clear last. The normal pod is always free, always public, and this one will be behind paywall.
Yep.
All right, so let's just do a quick news rundown, I guess, what happened since we potted on Saturday night, and then just questions I think will guide us. So I'm just going to rattle all of these off for you at once. David Luiz injury, Ollie Watkins done to Villa, Callum and Frey's done.
Wait, what? Rattling them all off? Okay. So we can't talk about any of them?
You're right. I was trying to sneak one in. All right, so Luiz injury. It's like a very weird thing.
Was he doing some a neck injury for 2 months? Was he doing some belt SVU situation? What is that?
No, I know. It also just came out of complete nowhere. It was just there's an Ornstein article and David Luiz might be out 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am very disturbed by Arsenal's defense because there are so many players, and every hour I read a different thing that makes me want a different guy. And I don't like it. It doesn't feel good.
It feels risky.
And I don't know what to do.
Yeah, Nate said that Holding he thinks is now nailed, whereas a week ago Holding was almost definitely going to get sold or loaned.
I mean, my thought about that is he's definitely nailed until the window closes, so he doesn't throw his toys out and demand to go somewhere to play.
Yeah,
because it's fucking Rob Holding, and if he wants to play 3 at the back, he needs a bunch of center backs. But you can't tell me that Saliba, Gabriel, Tierney couldn't be a back 3.
Absolutely.
It's fucking Rob Holding. He had a foot out the door to Newcastle 3 days ago.
It's very sketchy. Gab hasn't played or trained or anything, so maybe he's not ready. But
yeah, which is Holding for the first game week sounds like okay, cool, but not a place. But Saliba is the one that's more interesting
because he's
to
4
me, because he's still 4-5 and he's bought to play. Holding's a peripheral figure. Do you think Saliba's? It's still putting a lot of risk in a 4-5 defender where you don't really want risk. Is he the one that you want to just wait and see after a few games go? And then
that'd be ideal, but I don't mind the risk only because the longer the season goes on, I think his chances of getting minutes goes up. And you're really just risking game week 1 sort of game week 2. Game week 1 is the only week where you might have blankers on the bench.
Yeah, because we have, that's a good point.
So you're taking a risk for a punt for 2 weeks. And if you plan your team that you don't need him from game week 3 onwards, then it's probably not that bad.
Yeah.
But Tierney is the only nailed guy, and Bell maybe, I guess.
Bell now, it's they're priced to buy. I just don't know what to do.
Right.
Okay.
Ollie Watkins to Aston Villa. I should say before we do this, I'm just going to reference it probably multiple times, but I also guested on our friend's Draw No Bet podcast, a gambling podcast, because I'm going to reference it all the time. Because on that pod, I was like, Villa are complete trash, might go down again. They still don't have a striker. And then they just went out and got a really good championship striker, like probably the best striker in the league last season. So he's $6 million. I think obviously not game week 1, they're blanking, but out of the $6 million, I think he's like in the mix.
I just don't have any faith in the manager. And I just have no faith or capacity to think that he's going to be better than other 6'5" options. I just can't see that world.
In my head, I have him ahead of Mitro. Which I think is
Mitro's the worst thing.
No, but we're the only ones that think that, though. You know that, right? Like, his ownership is so high.
Great. He's fucking terrible pick. He's an awful pick.
Yeah, so I guess that's why I felt the need to say it. But
he's still give me the lead striker, the Spanish guy.
Rodrigo.
Give me fucking Antonio, maybe. I mean,
Che,
Wood,
maybe. Yeah.
Che. How many guys are there at the 6'5" region? There's a lot of guys in the game.
A lot.
So that's where I have to squint and tilt my head and go do a handstand to be I'm going to have Watkins this year.
Yeah, it's
good for them in real life though,
Oh, it's great for them. I think that's the perfect move for them. I love it.
Yeah. This isn't ML, FPL, my life, fantasy, or whatever.
No, yeah. Don't need to go further into it than that. I just kind of like it. Callum and Fraze, so weird. It's so weird. They getting them both is just I don't know. Newcastle.
I think it ensures their survival for 1,000,000% they're safe.
I don't think they're safe.
Yeah, I think they're extremely safe.
Callum was absolutely horrible last season.
He was bad, but it's still just
he's 28.
Yeah, no, he's not getting younger. They're not going to be able to. They just threw the money out the window to just try and stay up for a couple of years. But he's still a safe pair of hands. It's like a Deeney kind of play. You can just put him at 9, and you look around the league, and you could do worse. I just think that with Fraze, and then you add them to what they already had, that was sort of interesting with St. Max and Almiron. I think that they have enough pieces, enough goals, because what teams that go down, they don't have goals. They don't have the striker with goals, right? So yes, he only scored 8 last year and he was terrible. But, on a team that's not abject failures with one of the worst managers ever in the planet, Wilson, fine. Gale will come back.
Fraze,
they have options.
Almiron and St. Max behind him is actually sounds really good.
It makes St. Max to me a lot better because
probably
it's before when I was looking. Score. Yeah, and also before when I'm looking at Newcastle's team, I'm thinking about St. Max like us with Zaha. It's okay, you take him out of the game and the team doesn't function. So you put 2 guys on it, you could game plan that. You can't do that now, right? With Fraze, they're going to have width on both, and they have a lot of danger runs. So I think I love those moves for Newcastle. I think. And I also like them from an FPL standpoint because
that's what I was going to ask you. What does it mean? So are you has it radically changed how you feel about the FPL picks? Are you in on Callum? Are you ill on St. Max?
I will never be in on Callum.
It sounds
I hate him. I like him for the team. I'm thinking more their real life product. I'm still looking at their fixtures and I don't like them. They have 2 good ones and then a few bad ones, but the team. John Joe, sir, but is he going to play that attacking style like he was when they were just
we don't
fast
know.
And loose, or is he going to go back to let's try and grind out points to get safe so that whatever, right? So I want to see that first because if he starts playing all the long staffs and shit, then I'm just no, thank you. Maybe I want Lascelles, right? But at least the game, I'm interested to watch Newcastle, which is not common, so I'm happy for that.
Right. Yeah, that was Tom's question. How do you feel about St. Max? So that's addressed. Stu Armstrong's ruled out. Not much analysis needed here. We just not an option. It makes the whole 0.5. It makes the whole 5-5 class worse also because
there's one less option.
There's one less guy. Yeah.
I am curious, though, who plays his role, because I was trying to look into it, and I was having trouble finding
Gineppo
the sauce.
or Buffal, right?
Can Gineppo play, like, centrally?
Don't know.
Buffal definitely doesn't have the work rate to do what Stu does, right?
Yeah.
Because that's interesting to me, is who's going to play instead.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the smallest bone?
They could, like, move JWP up, but they don't really have another, like, central midfielder. Yeah, small bone. Yeah, small bone. Actual.
That's what I'm interested in.
Obafemi, maybe? Obafemi?
Bafemi, Irish national?
Yeah,
maybe. Because I'm a little bit... I feel like Stu... He's been getting ridiculed. I've been seeing a lot of anti-Stu talk, which, you hate to see that, but...
From who?
Just people, People
not
around town.
He's not naming names.
I'm not naming names.
He's not a
people
rat.
Around town.
Snitches get stitches, folks.
He does so much for them, and it's hard to see the replacement. And I'm a little bit concerned about how Southampton are going to look without him. I know he didn't play like all the minutes last year, but when he played, he added a dimension that that wasn't easily replaceable. So. It is. I think that's more significant than people think.
Yeah, good one
to me.
Bats to Palace. Batshuayi back. Hashtag bats back.
So good.
I mean, just another guy in that fucking price range that's like maybe good.
I mean, we're gonna be watchable this year.
Yeah, I mean, like
that's it.
Yeah,
we're gonna be watchable.
2-3 weeks ago, I would have been like Palace are one of the main contenders to get relegated, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
And then adding an actual 10/winger guy in Eze who's supposed to be really good and young, and adding Bats is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I haven't been this excited about Palace since I started following.
Let's go.
No, but it's like it is really exciting.
It's really exciting.
It really is. Like we have 3 like fun flair, just like ballers.
Yeah,
and we have the most beautiful, sexy manager too. So everything's fucking knitting. The quilt's being knit together. Kouyaté at center back where he belongs. Dirty dog.
Kouyaté is a legend.
And Millie hasn't played a second of preseason football, so maybe we have games where he doesn't play, which is amazing.
That will cause be amazing. For celebration already. Just for people who weren't following the Premier League, I guess in 18-19 season, Bats scored 5 goals in 9 starts with extremely good underlying numbers and XG and shots per 90 and all of that shit. Like
he was shooting at will in the box.
Like
so many shots.
Back then, he was like a top striker prospect in Europe. Not like a superstar, but like he just came from Chelsea, Dortmund, like all that shit. And I don't know. He could be great.
Perfect.
Another guy I'm interested in.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like there's all of a sudden a lot of cheap forwards that are kind of good. It makes Che a lot better.
There are a lot of players in the game that it's with 15 spots.
Far too many, I would say. Far too many.
Yeah.
Soup Check is available.
Great.
Cool. I think he's one of the only 5 million guys that I think is like maybe worth that 0.5 to just get a start for him in game week 1 is basically the only reason.
Yeah.
Pulisic is fit.
I'm not in on that.
That's
I'm not ready for that.
Huge.
I'm not ready for this. Let's skip. I'm not.
We'll
loose
do
enough
Chelsea
to talk
later.
About this.
We'll do Chelsea later. Yeah, we'll do a special Chelsea section.
I can't do that.
Yeah, now. I need you to gain the energy. Like we need momentum. Rodrigo and Koch. Is it Koch or Cock?
I think it's Coke.
Coke. I'll try Cock for now.
It's option C.
Yeah, option C, Cock.
Nothing you thought of before.
They're ready to go, sure. Chilwell is 100% ruled out. Aspill's like being managed, coming back from injury. So Reece James probably nailed early season while Chilwell's out.
There's another 6 million defender on the team.
Huh?
Marcos A, who maybe is a punt
Oh my
now.
God, he's still there?
Yeah, bro. He's chilling. He drives to training every day by himself.
Oh God, hope not. I kind of just deleted him. Like I thought he was gone already.
He's Control Alt in the team still. So
okay, so never mind about Reece James.
If you're 1 week wild carding, I don't know. If Aspill's not going to play?
Yeah, Reece is not nailed anymore, so I take back what I said.
Reece plays right. Maybe Marcus is on the left.
But Aspill could play the right.
He could.
And then this is probably like my favorite one is that James in, Doucouré in, Allen in. James is 7'5". Everton are ready to go. Like TCL in. They're just good. Tom said, do you feel Rich is worth the premium over DCL? I think Rich is being now also in the conversation a little bit, and they're just good. All of a sudden, I'm like, they're good.
They're exceptional.
Yeah. So
they're fucking
they did
good.
Every possible thing we wanted them to do.
Insane.
Yeah. Like they got like the perfect guy. What the fuck?
Oh, ayo.
Some fuckers ringing my doorbell. I'm not going to answer. So what's
the thing about them is
7'5".
Yeah, they're going to definitely have teething issues, right? They're changing a lot. But three of the first four are really good. Dude, they have a fucking whole new team.
I know, but Allen played under Ancelotti. James played under Ancelotti twice. I think he keeps basically the same 4-4-2 and just puts in better players.
Yeah, whatever the formation is, but when you replace the entire engine room, like you're putting your three players who you are going to have on the ball the most in a whole game, like those are all brand new players who you've never met.
Definitely.
Like that's going to take a little bit. Yeah, but that said, it's similar to what the Chelsea thing of the names on the backs of the shirt and the quality is just ridiculous. They play like West Brom, Palace, Brighton. It's kind of stupid, they should be able to figure it out. I have a lot of trust and faith. Carlo is still, he's just Carlo,
Yeah. So
Everton, man, fucking so exciting.
Huge. Very, very exciting. We'll talk more about James later, I'm sure. Yeah. And then Mahrez and Laporte test positive for COVID. So
is that a story? Does that matter?
I think that means they have to isolate, right?
That happened like a week ago, right? So how many weeks?
I don't know the rules.
I don't know the fucking guidelines, dude. It's the same as they VAR. Are they going to VAR? They VAR it probably.
Yeah, they'll VAR it.
They'll VAR it. They'll figure it out.
You can Google for yourself, Mars.
Odin and Greenwood, trying to smash, and are they in the thing? I don't know what the things are.
Those have to be question 1 and 2 in the press conference, right?
Yeah. Well, does it matter what the questions are? The lies will flow.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's something to think about.
It's
okay. Now I think we're just gonna go to questions. I have some grouped up, some common questions that about the same topics, and then I have a billion other questions on top of that.
Should we talk about our teams before the questions, or should we do the questions first? Let's do the questions first. Go. Okay. Questions.
First thing, Man City. 3 questions. Allie, is all the Man United and Chelsea hype blinding us from how good City assets will probably be? Not a whole lot of discussion for anyone beyond Foden and Kev. D. Naylor, does Foden bringing a female into the hotel and presumably pissing off Pep change thoughts on stashing him for game week 1? And Flem, Walsh, do you now hate Foden? Or the fact that he tried to get his dick wet on internationals make him even more attractive?
It takes a lot more than trying to smash for me to not like someone. You don't know me well. I have a high tolerance for indiscretions. You do not know me. So that's that box.
I like Allie's question because they are still by far the best attack in the league. No question.
By a lot of fars.
Yeah.
Galaxies or universes?
Universi. So
and United's close, but
Yeah, exactly. Same universe. Yeah, so I think she's exactly right. I think people, and we mentioned Mars at the end, I think on last week, that was someone's question, are we forgetting about Mahrez? And we were both like, yes, we're forgetting about Mahrez. And I mean, the first thing we said when the prices came out was like, oh my God, Kuhn is 10-5. And we haven't said his name once since.
Yeah.
They're going to score 100-plus goals, most in the league. And, it seems like no one's even talking about their guys.
Yeah. It's not great. I think stashing... I mean, I'm like been on Bruno stash because... the fixtures are so much better. I mean, the Palace and then Brighton versus, right, the Wolves and shit.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Leicester's a good fixture, but that's really the only reason is that, right? But
yeah.
Raz, Kevin, Kuhn, I mean, these are players who are going to score 200 points or on a 200-point, like, point per start. Like, Kuhn won't be fit, obviously. So, you got to think about it. And, if you stash someone, if you're stashing Kevin or Raz and not Bruno or Tony, no, you're never going to hear a complaint from me about that.
Yeah.
It might actually just be better. And I'm not sure. That's something I wanted to talk to you about because I don't know what to do about that.
I've been on the stash Kev for like 2 weeks now.
You still have Kev?
I still have him.
Oh, my God. No Bruno.
He's great. I still don't have Bruno. I still have Tony.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're great. It's a great question, and it's definitely something that, like, in these final 30 hours or whatever on our teams, we should definitely spend more time. It's almost like looking back to, like, pre-cog episode, like, post-mortem episode, like, wait, we're overthinking it a little bit, here and there.
Well, Foden, though, is I took him out.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anything. And we're not going to know anything by tomorrow. They don't play for 2 weeks. So he was already, touch and go. So he's someone I'm looking more at, after I save game week 1 or I'm taking a hit. Like he's someone I'll bring in.
That's very sketchy.
But starting with him doesn't seem like there's really any sense to do that now.
And then we need to see what the COVID shit means for Mahrez, because if he's unavailable, then obviously starting with him is dumb. But if he is available, starting with him, I think is totally fine.
Mahrez. But we won't know. We won't know by Saturday.
Maybe there's a presser. I don't really know.
No, there's no dude, their game's not for 2 weeks. There's no Pep's not talking to anyone.
Pep's just home alone.
Yeah. No, I think we're not going to know anything different than we do today.
So then you can't start with Mahrez either. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of need to avoid those guys. And, if you start... Kuhn, I don't know. But if you start with Kevin or Raz, that's very safe.
We don't know anything either.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. We don't know. I mean, we don't know shit. Kevin and Raz, though, very safe to stash if you're feeling okay about the Wolves and it's someone that you know that you want for that medium term and you don't think like Bruno's better or whatever. Totally fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's the City questions. Chelsea, Ozzy, and RB both were asking about who we like best of all their assets. Kai at 8.5, Ziyech at 8, Pooley at 8.5. Chelsea.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
And then Luke said, is Mount an actual option for game week 1 because of the injuries? So Ziyech is out, Pooley's just back from fitness. I mean, I could see Mount starting, but I wouldn't start with him because he's definitely not nailed.
Yeah, Mount should start. Game week 1.
I feel like he could start, but I wouldn't say he's like nailed, right?
With COVID, I think he's nailed. Yeah, I don't think there's a world that he doesn't start game week 1. But that's a quick hook of he's someone that you're looking at with OBS, right? That like okay, these 2 spots are where I'm going to spend my transfers after the first 2 or something, and that's okay. If you want a 7 million player and you like him or whatever, okay, fine. But
yeah, I mean, you're just getting him for Brighton, basically. Yeah, because he's definitely not nailed for Liverpool, and you don't even want him for Liverpool.
Yeah, and so he's also not really that good. I mean,
I want to see him doing. Guy.
Yeah, like I want to see him having good performances, playing in a good spot, or someone else gets hurt, and he's like. He was not that good last year, and he fell off a cliff. I don't love that show. But the Pulisic stuff? What do you make of this situation? Because
Ziyech is out for like actually weeks.
Yeah,
so he's no longer remotely an option.
Disaster.
Pulisic and Kai, I think, are both like elite, incredible options, and Werner too. Honestly, like I think they're all super underpriced and super good. Werner hasn't left either of our teams.
Yeah,
Pulisic,
Werner we don't need to talk about. But Pulisic, though.
He actually did some training sessions and stuff like that. So, like, Frank said he's 100% fit, and he also trained with the team.
Well, yesterday was the only day. He just started.
I think it was the Athletic guy who was saying he thinks Pulisic's in the team. Or, like, in the starting lineup. So
starting.
Yeah. Like Matt Law or whatever his name is, I think.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think he's a fantastic pick. I mean,
do you think he's going to start? Because it's a disaster if he doesn't start and you start with him, honestly. Because they have Liverpool game week 2.
I don't feel qualified to give an answer. Like, I don't want to.
Who the fuck am I, dude? Like, I'm.
No,
what do you think? Like, what do you? Yeah, what do you feel? What do you
think
feel?
He'll get minutes. I don't know if it's 30 off the bench or 60 starting, but I think it's one of those two.
So then the question becomes, how much do you want him for the near to medium term versus like using a transfer to get him after Liverpool?
So after Liverpool, they have West Brom, Palace, and Southampton before Manchester United.
Yeah.
So I think the answer is you want him a lot.
So
because West Brom and Palace,
someone to target after game week 2, because then you get into the same thing of, okay, well, we don't want City players, we want Man United players. I mean, you know, what's the plan?
Yeah,
there?
I mean, Chelsea and City are the case for like wildcarding game week 3, I think. Like, Chelsea have a good fixture game week 1, obviously. Like, I might even captain Werner, but aside from Werner and probably Havertz, we don't really know the rest of the lineup, like through and through. Anyone else?
Yeah, they might just not create.
They might just be bad, and you're taking a 1 week punt, and 1 week punts are kind of bad, and then they have Liverpool. But game week 3 on, I expect it to be like the strongest 11 barring ZH fitness, and obviously we'll start wanting City guys. So I think the case has gotten stronger with like Kai and Pooley for a game week 3 wildcard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't moved Kai from my team.
It's just hard. So who are your...
I'm definitely going to be on him.
How many Manchester guys do you have?
Just Bruno now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, I think Kai is the best. Like, if they were all fit starting 11 and we have to guess how the rest of the season goes right now, which is not the case, but if that were the case, I would like Kai best at 8-5.
I still feel a little bit better with Pulisic because we know that he scores goals. Like, all he does is get taken down for a pen, dive, no pen, goal. Like, those are his outcomes.
You're probably right. I just the fitness just drives me up a wall.
No, yeah, and that's why it's like yo-yoing him out.
Week to week, I'm nervous about his fitness.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's the press conference after he got subbed on 85 is, he's fucking hamstring. We don't know if he's playing. Yeah. That's a constant thing with him. You'd never know because he's just made of little rubber bands and gum
an American
and straw
bitch.
And shit.
But
black bitch.
But yeah, I mean, Pooley and Kai, I think objectively much better than ZH.
Because I sort of came around to the idea that it's not worth the risk. I'm Pulisic if he doesn't start game week 1 and they have Liverpool game week 2. But at the same time...
At the same time, he fucking subbed on and like haddied against Liverpool in the restart.
He's... Yeah, I just think you're okay waiting till game week 3 to get Pulisic in.
I think so too.
Yeah, basically that's what I'm thinking about with him. And the points.
But I think so with Havertz too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more of like, I want them both or something like that, and I don't want to earmark so many transfers. So I have a better security in my mind that Havertz isn't a start, and for that reason, I'm happy to hold him. But
that makes sense.
When I'm also hiding Bruno, like if Pulisic doesn't start, then suddenly I'm like, my team game week 1 is 4 million rank, and I don't want that either. So
yeah.
Okay,
that's Chelsea.
But basically, 3 Chelsea attackers. Like, that's just...
It's very hard to argue against.
Yeah, it's the prices. I expect them to score the second most goals in the league this year.
Yeah, we both do. We've talked about that.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
So if you look at how City's priced, and if you look at how Liverpool's priced, and we think Chelsea's going to be between them in goals, then it just something doesn't line up.
Yeah, it's like everyone is Mahrez price.
Yeah.
And they're Chelsea, the Chelsea players.
It's going to be good. Liverpool questions. Matteo said, no Mo seems to be a thing, but most going this route have doubled in defense instead with Trent and Robbo. Do you think Liverpool keep more than one clean in the first three? They play away Chelsea and home Arsenal. FPL and Boo said, if we know Trent, Robbo, VVD are all around 200 points with an average cost of 7 mil, why wouldn't we just set and forget them? Backline all sorted. And then Frankenstein said, so far Liverpool haven't reinforced significantly. One injury to the front three and the goal output could drop. Would it be better to go with three pool at the back? So same question, instead of having one of Mane. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is something that I think we haven't talked about on the actual pod, but you and I have just texted about, which is like, it's not really a one-to-one translation from the position to position. Like 7 million in defense doesn't equal 7 million in midfield because of how 4 or 5 defenders actually are viable options and starters, but 4 or 5 midfielders are 2 points per game and 4 or 5 forwards don't play. So it's like not exactly one-to-one. And that's why like spending 21 on 3 guys in defense isn't the same, because like you can get 4-5 and 5-0s who are nailed on really good teams and save, so it's the 2-player thing that you always talk about. It's like Robbo and who's the other guy? So that's why I haven't been there. But are you still on Trent and Robbo?
No, I took Robbo out a long time ago. I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, I haven't been there at all.
Yeah, I'm just going to put it all in attack. I have Trent, and I mean, my biggest question is if I'm going to have 3-4-5s and a 4-0 with Trent or 4-4-5s. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I mean, there are legit really good 4-5 options, and there's the 5-0 Spurs guys that I like too who haven't left my team.
Yeah, I actually like don't love a lot of the 4-5 options after I kind of looked more deeper into the names and the teams, but they're enough okay for me to feel okay doing it and have more money in attack to get like that extra, Mahrez or Pulisic or Ziyech when he's back or whomever, right? So that's where I'm at right now.
Cool.
But the other question about like that long-term set and forget, right? That's also, I get the concept, but it doesn't really play out in reality that way because we have a wild card that we use within the first,
that's also
8 to 12 game weeks. So
even you sooner, really, like 4 to 12 game weeks.
But that's the thing is like you need to look at those set and forget players. Okay, it's useful when you're building your squad and you're like, okay, these 5 players, I don't have to worry too much about if they blank, fine. If they score, fine. Like they're fine, right? So those like quote unquote set and forget. But when you're actually doing it and you do set and forget like the whole defense, you're going to be wildcarding soon. So is that better than what else you could do for a month or two, right? So that's what you should be looking at.
And it's pretty easy to plan short term when you have unlimited transfers. And before game week 1, it's very easy to be like, okay, these are my 5 for the first 4 or 5 game weeks of the season. They rotate perfectly or whatever. They have good enough fixtures. You don't need set and forget guys at the back this early.
And when you wild card, then that's when you look at that a little bit more closely because you're like, okay, we know that this price bracket's not really good in midfield, so I'm going to just get those. I'm going to get Robbo instead, or whatever it is. So I like thinking about that a lot more. Later.
It's almost like than that becomes the part of the season when we don't want to use transfers on defense. We don't use it in the earlier period either, but you don't have to worry that much about it. But once you wild card, it's like, these are my guys. Here we go.
You're going for a long time with them.
Very long time. Okay. Everton questions. Love to see it.
And you also do get team value on attackers. Defenders don't fucking move. Other than Lundstrom.
That's true too.
And that matters a lot because then when you're wild carding game week 8, you can jam in a couple 5 million defenders, whereas like you couldn't if you were just stagnant with all of these things, right? That is actually a thing.
That's actually good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how much the Manchester guys rise. Like if they're really like farmable in that way.
Yeah,
and
well, yeah.
they all,
or
like,
if they
Tony, Kev, Bruno all go up 0.3, or I don't know.
Yeah, or if they do that thing where like they don't have price changes the first couple of days.
It might also, someone shouted in Discord, sorry, I forgot who it was, that they might also price drop, because like some of these guys are so highly owned, like Kev and stuff, but
people will realize they blank and think
they're
don't play
new
the
players.
whole year.
They just don't realize. They're like, oh, Kevin De Bruyne, he got 5,000 points last season, 30% owned, and then he's going to get a 0 game week 1, and they're like, oh, I'm getting rid of Kevin De Bruyne. So that's a shout.
That's too deep for me to like actually make decisions.
No, absolutely.
It's just a funny thing.
Yeah, Everton questions. Callum said, is DCL a wait and see how Everton look with the new boys, or would you be comfortable with him in your game week 1 team? Late riser, do you expect James Rodriguez to perform from the get-go? And Johnny D, Everton have done great business to have decent fixtures from game week 2 onwards. Do we start with DCL on hold, or wait and see if Carlo can get them working?
I mean, this is similar to Chelsea with me. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to put in, Obbs, Mane, like Alderweireld, like players I know that are going to be like middling. Right? Yeah. I believe that the Everton team and the Chelsea team are stupid compared to the value, like the prices of the players. And I'm very happy to go in immediately when I feel like that's when it's the most differentiated from the field. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like we're talking about, right? I think James is a world-class player, not alone in that, obviously. But 7-5, I mean, he's in the fucking Champions League game. He's usually like 9, in the Champions League game, right?
Yeah.
When, it's a totally, but he's fucking amazing. Allen just is an incredible, like, stitcher supplier in midfield, and DCL just gets touches in the box, shots in the box, headers in the box. He knows how to hold up. They have everything. So I don't want to wait and see. I want to expect and see. That's like, I expect it, and I trust myself enough to go in, Yep.
I feel the same exact way.
Yeah.
I love Carlo. I think he did a great job when he first got there, and they were great. That's pretty objective. That's not really even an opinion thing. Sure, they let their foot off the gas in the restart, but whatever. Their season was effectively over. We knew that going in. We just like misread it. I mean, he's worked with these players before, except Doucouré, and I think the amount better they got, going from Iwobi to James, Gylfi to Allen, and Davies to Doucouré, is just absolutely ridiculous and solves like all of their problems at once. And I mean, I'm in. DCL hasn't left my team, and
DCL is Jim this year.
And James has been in my tinker for like 2 days. I mean, I really
have James too. I have both.
God, we're such fucking idiots. It's going to be a disaster. But I feel so good with them.
7-5 for James. Like, when I'm just scanning around and playing and clicking the buttons and doing the things, 7-5 is it's not right, It's just not right.
It ain't right.
I don't believe it's correct.
It's I mean, you look at not only what James has done in the past, because obviously he's like a weird player who hasn't played a full season in a really long time, but the other guys that Ancelotti has managed in this position, where he's going to be a winger who cuts in and is effectively a number 10.
And set pieces.
The other guys who have done that are Di Maria on Real Madrid, who finished with 4 goals and 17 assists, and Callejon at Napoli finished with 3 goals and 10 assists. And that doesn't include like fantasy assists too. And you just put James.
Hopefully he doesn't do that. I don't want that.
No, I know, but I'm saying that's like a floor. If you think of like the quality of player and team, it's like I expect like some, maybe not double digit goals, 6, 7, 8 goals, and I expect well over double digit assists. So.
I expect double digits both. I would be surprised if he doesn't score 10 goals.
It's just
if he plays like 27, 50 plus minutes, I can't imagine he doesn't score 10 goals.
It's frightening how high we are on them.
You think he would score like 5 or 6?
No, I'm just being conservative because I think you should be conservative with a player like him. But I mean, like, anytime he has gotten anything close to 2,000 minutes, he's double all day. So, you know.
Yeah. He's really good, dude.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be good. They could like top 6 or something, I think.
Yeah, 5th. They could finish above Spurs and Arsenal. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, the other thing is that it's so fucking insane. And I think because it's just like new, he hasn't been here, but Ancelotti is a world-class manager. Like, we're not like, oh, fucking, what's his name? That Portuguese guy with the hair. Silva. What was that his name? The guy from Watford, the manager who got Marco Silva.
Marco Silva.
We're not like, oh shit, like Marco Silva got these new toys. Is he going to figure it out? Like, right. Genuinely don't know. Like, this is a world-class manager.
To be honest, that's when we're talking about Chelsea and Everton, I feel so much more confident in Carlo getting the best out of the players.
I know. Like, but the players on Chelsea are better than Everton. Though.
Obviously better, and I still back them because they're so good. But like people are not respecting Carlo enough. I think
that's a thing. Like it's a real thing. Yeah, it's a real thing.
I mean,
he's used to winning leagues. Like he wins leagues when he manages. He's not just like some fucking pound shop guy, you know?
Pound shop Big Sam. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be
great. But I'm more nervous now than I have been at all in the past week because we're both on both guys.
I don't care. I love that. I love it. I can't wait for Spurs 1, Everton 0.
That's
Sunday.
So locked
Nailed
in.
On.
I can't wait to be watching it on Peacock up my ass, minute behind. Can't even look at Discord because I'm so behind because I have to stream it. It's not on TV.
It's going to be like a Lucas Moura deflected goal 1-0.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yerry Mina, like, standing still on a corner, just bounces off his neck in. And
oh, my God.
Pickford. The last grouped up questions are about COVID, which is interesting. So Canada Brad said, I'm not asking for an in-depth analysis. Good. He said, but I'm just wondering whether or not you've considered changing your position on planning for potential COVID-related issues in the team. This week's news has me worried about match cancellations moving forward, particularly with Nations League travel and throughout the season. And then Mishko is basically asking the same, like, should we avoid captain, vice captain from the same team, limit the number of players for the same team?
I mean, we do that anyway.
Place more emphasis on late transfers, consider taking more hits. Like, just has it entered your psyche at all? Because that last part,
actually,
I think
not at all.
Yeah, like
what?
No, just like maybe not going with like triple ups or like maybe waiting till the end of the week for transfers, which we usually do anyway. But maybe it's a little bit more. It's recommended.
The chances of it happening and like knowing which week or when is so remote and out of our hands that if we're planning for these like corner cases of like the 1% things at the expense of picking players we think are going to get the most points, then we're going to come out behind.
Yeah, I just mean, I think there are going to be probably multiple times this season where on Thursday or Friday we're going to find out XYZ has COVID and they're out for the week. So maybe waiting for Friday transfers or something more so than in seasons past.
I don't know. I mean, even that though is I mean, okay, that could also be like Danny Drinkwater and fucking Juan Foyth. Like, I don't know. Like, they're going to be the best players of the 10 we have on our team. Like, it could be anyone.
I think everyone just blew up once it was Mahrez Laporte because everyone's just like, oh
fine.
my
well,
God.
All of the fucking hotties go to Mykonos and get COVID and fridge shit and get arrested and get their sisters injected with, herpes or fucking whatever.
I don't know what
roofies.
Words you just said, but okay.
Roofies.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's, if you're into that, you can be into that, but we're kind of not. All right. So moving on are just a lot of questions, on any whatever topics people wrote in. What?
Lucy's.
Yeah, Lucy's. So here we go. Brad vibes. A lot of Chelsea guys versus Ali versus James questions. What are your thoughts on the mid-price midfield bracket in general? It's always sexy guys. I've always been burned so many times here. What should we be looking for in this bracket? What strategy do we employ? Last year, Martial was the most obvious thing, but I don't see anyone quite in that position this year.
Well, mid-price, I think those are more like below premium tier, right? I mean, I think James is that. He's 7.5, right? Tony was 7.5 last year. So he fits that bill to me. But with all the 8.5s around and Foden and Greenwood and Zaha, I think there's a lot of names there. So I don't mind having, a few of them or a couple of them at all.
I like that you threw Wilf in there, cheeky little
He's
Wilf.
been in my team, so I need to start to... He needs to come back.
Okay. Oh my God. The Eagles are flying. Let's go. Okay. Yeah, no, I think it's a good question to ask because there are often like these kind of new guys we get overly excited for and they don't work out and we just rinse and repeat the same thing season on season. But this is like very weird. Like this Chelsea situation is not a normal situation at all. Yeah, I think it's okay as well. There's a lot of guys. Nick, how can we avoid getting too attached to players we like? I feel like we all have players and we want to perform well, but they just don't perform. How do you guys manage this? Or the opposite when we hate players?
Wrong question for this podcast.
It's really bad.
If we knew, do you listen to this podcast? Have we ever done that? Have we shown any ability to do that? I can confirm
we've never done that. Yeah.
Never. That's never even come onto my radar. I have no idea how to do that.
And same with hating players and not getting them. We just don't get them.
I make actual self-imposed guideline rules of no Leicester players. Like, what am I doing? I don't know. Yeah, if you figure it out, Nick, please follow up with the answer.
His example was, imagine Vardy has an unexpectedly insane run. Does Walsh bring him in?
Yeah, no. Do you know who I am? Do you listen to the podcast?
Do you know who I am?
Do I say things like that and then go back on it? Like, I've never done that in 5 years, 6 years of us spending the podcast. Like, come on.
Yeah, that was kind of like a toxic question from Nick, to be honest.
I'm not mad.
I'm not mad, but it's a little
bit
toxic.
What is toxic, though? What does that mean? I don't know what it means.
I guess I'm just such a gamer, Yeah,
but I'm not. So what does it mean? Like, because it's like
being like toxicity. It's like a trolly negative attitude or something.
But was it negative? Because we're just like laughing about it.
No,
like,
it's not negative.
I'm happier now than I was before the question was.
But it's kind of like, yeah, it's just like, it's like other people would get mad. You know what I mean? The fact that we're handling it well doesn't mean it's not toxic. The toxicity is in the eye of the beholder, is the expression.
I don't know about that one.
Boletico said, with your teams close to finalized... Okay, Bill. According to Bill, they're close to final. I didn't know that. How close are you to the things you outlined in your post-mortem pods from last season? Were there differences where you went against your own advice? What makes you feel comfortable with that, etc.? Have you gone back? Have you looked at your precog notes?
I have been every few days going back to see what it said, to see what I'm doing, and I'm doing all the things that I said I was not.
You're not doing.
I'm not doing many of the things that I said to do.
What's the percentage? What's the percentage hit rate there?
It's not high. I don't know
You're
exactly,
batting
but it's
below Mendoza line, or
yeah.
Oh, well below there. Okay,
I'm like Chris Davis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what are we talking, like 16.7% or something like that?
I mean, I have DCL. That's about it. I have Trent. I don't know. 2 of 15?
Oh, man, that's rough. That's really bad.
Everything else is just like fun new boys. Like, I don't know.
So we only have tomorrow, Friday, to like listen to pods and like make those kind of adjustments. I'm gonna try my best to, before I go live on Twitch, like listen to our postmortem or something, and then I can answer this question. But I can't really answer the question otherwise. The only thing that I know that I'm following is I have 4.5 and a 4.0 at goalie.
Yeah, me
and
too.
I'm not transferring those.
I haven't played with that at all. I still have Ryan, dude. I've been just like blinders on, Matt Ryan, Ozzy, oi, oi, oi for me. I don't know.
Well, that's our next question. Matteo. He said, why is Ryan a better pick than McCarthy? I held Ryan for so long last year, game week 16 through 28, and he got me 1 clean. What's changed with Brighton to make him viable? Shots fired.
Fuck. I do not feel qualified to answer that question.
That's why I don't have Ryan. I had him too, Matt. Here's us on the pod being like, yeah, his pass completion percentage, skip bones every game, and then he gets 1 clean in 12 game weeks.
I think Ben White is a big deal, honestly. I think that's a big deal.
He's supposed to be really, really good.
Yeah, and I like the 3 center back situation, even though we talked about it, like alluded to it last week on the pod, that they might be playing with a higher line. I think Webster's good. I think Dunk's a shithouse, but I like White. He's like, they'll be able to recover. I think they'll be okay. And I feel like Ryan's a good shot stop. Like, he fucks up when they're indirect set pieces. Like, he fucks up on dumb shit or like deflected dumb shit. So I just feel like Brighton also, I'm high on them as a team. And again, right, I don't believe that they set up really defensively or negatively to keep 1-0s or grind 1-0s out. But I think that they're good enough that they're going to luck into some cleans. And I feel like he'll make like a few saves and shit. I like the 4-0 backup. I just feel like it's a safe pair of hands.
It sounds like you're saying you trust Potter to make the team better in year 2.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I definitely do.
I think that's kind of what it comes down to. If you do, then I think Ryan's fine. If you don't like Potter and think he's stupid, then like they might get relegated. Because if they get better, if they get a percentage better, there's 0% chance of relegation. If they get better.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I think that they're going to be a big surprise team. I don't think fantasy-wise there are a lot of assets, but I think in real life, I think that they're going to be decent.
I could see them finishing like 12th.
Yeah, at least, I think. Yeah, I think 10, 11, 12, I think they could do that. I think they could definitely,
really good for them.
Yeah, I definitely think they could do that.
Rare to
so
hear
that's my
eagle.
Ryan.
Rare to hear an eagle upping the weeds, you know?
Oh, the weed, you know. Yeah, I mean, I don't really. I mean, that shit to me is like, it's so far away. I'm sorry,
I'm
you know.
Kidding,
I get it.
I'm kidding.
No, but you're, you know, for you with like, do you hate Everton? Like, we're talking about you fucking love it. It's
not at all.
Thing is that's like American. Like, people hate us because we're American, and that's fine. But yeah, I can still.
That's like the biggest divide, I feel like, between us and like the UK supporters or whatever.
The rivalries, because we don't feel. Yeah. Could you imagine if someone was like a Mets fan and they didn't hate like the Phillies?
Yeah, right. Like an Aussie Mets fan is like, love the Mets.
Oh, I love
my
Chase
second team's
Utley.
the Braves.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, are they? You know, like,
okay.
Yeah, that's tough.
So what's your McCarthy deal? Because I haven't really been playing with him at all, but I
spend as little time as possible playing with keepers, so I don't have much to say other than what we said on last pod, but I just like the fixtures, like the team, like the manager. Okay. It's very similar, honestly. I just think they're a good team.
Okay.
The early fixtures matter to me because I know I'm going to wildcard probably somewhere between game week 3 and game week like 6 or something. So the early fixtures matter to me a lot.
I'm trying to not think about them mattering because I don't want to change my goalkeeper when I wildcard. Because this is the same thing that happened with Pope last year. I got rid of him because I had this, like, I perceived that the fixtures were getting rough and they weren't looking good, and then he got 5 million fucking points after I got rid of him.
I see.
So it's like, if I'm sitting here right now in game week 1, I'm like, I don't know what the hell is going to happen with the goalies. Like, when I change them, I usually just put bad money after bad. So, you know, I'm feeling like that's something I'm thinking about, at least until my second wild card, when it's like a really small window and I'll try and spike this, but you know, I don't know.
Okay. I hear you. Chucky said, I'm curious to hear a discussion on Spurs D. Personally, I feel that the fixtures are kind of meh, with Newcastle the only very likely clean. Also, they have a million games, might be exhausted / heavy rotation, and 5-0 potentially better spent elsewhere, like Chef D, Saiz, United, etc. Balfsky followed up with, how worried are you by Spurs' schedule? Assuming they get through group stage of Europa. They're due to play 6 games in September. It's a lot.
Many games.
Yeah, it's many games.
They have a complete full B team though. So
yeah, and
I don't really care. People are making a big deal of it. I don't care. Yeah, don't care at all.
Apparently when United were in Europa with Mourinho,
full
different
mockery.
11.
Yeah, little babies like Dan James and his little children. Don't care about it at all. I mean, maybe I think that they're going to be 8 or 9 change teams. And I don't think it's going to... I think... I was talking about this with someone on Discord, but to me, the bigger issue is that they can't spend the week preparing for the weekend. They have to do... Mourinho's going to be still... Okay, the game's on Thursday, so I have to, do shit with fucking, Ndombele and Gedson Fernandez to get them ready for Thursday and take away from, what they're needing to do in the league on the weekend. So, and the weeks they have to travel, right? So I think that is more of an effect to me of maybe their performances will be a little stale. But, generally speaking, in terms of minutes, I'm not worried at all about the first team players.
Yeah, and also even just the staleness, unless injury strikes, I don't even think it's bad. They might be sharper than the other teams by 3 weeks in because they played more games or whatever, have more intense training or something. I feel like it's sort of meaningless speculation to me, unless it's the whole season they have twice as many fixtures and no prep. It's they'll be fine
I mean, if he goes to that first Europa League group and he plays Son, Kane, Ollie, then I'm okay, I'm selling everyone.
Great. Yeah, it's not
great. Yeah, then if he's doing that kind of shit, but... that kind of shit team in Europa League shouldn't happen until, fucking March or whatever. When it gets to the business end. Yeah. So, yeah.
Anshuman, he said Ziyech, James, Kai, or Dele, who's the best long-term hold, is going with 2 Chelsea mids viable. Obviously, we think yes.
Yeah. I mean, I still obviously love Ziyech. I think that's a good one. I mean, they're all good. It's whatever. You can talk me into any of them.
Unproven is the wrong word, but I don't know what Dele is still in this team. I don't know what Dele's role is in Mourinho's best 11.
Yeah,
is that known?
I think. Well, he was playing that kind of support track, but the thing with them is
then he didn't play the last 2 months or whatever.
Well, he was hurt, I think, but I don't know if he's going to play the same position. There are more question marks there, I think. And
yeah, that's why I don't think it's definitely not him for me. I feel I'm really high on James and Kai though.
Yeah, me too.
And that rhymes too, which is strong. So I think
they're just both incredible and they're going to be great as long as they're playing.
Yeah, I think
Ollie could play 6 games in a row and do nothing. And I wouldn't be surprised. I would be very surprised if that happens with the Chelsea or the Everton player here.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Eric B., I know this magic cannot be forced, but are there any last-minute Walsh's balls shouts?
No. The thing I think for me with that's going to be when I've been really avoidant about 4 or 5 defenders. And I don't know what I'm going to be doing there. So if anything, it could be some deep guy there.
You're grinding to find someone there and you just find your guy.
Like the soy from last year kind of thing where it's oh my God, how did I not see this before?
Wow. I really hope that happens.
Yeah. Other than that, no, I mean, I'm pretty vanilla with all of my attacking players. I mean, maybe Wolf qualifies, honestly.
Wolf definitely qualifies, dude. He's
the thing I'm
he hasn't been talked about at all.
Yeah, the thing I'm a little bit worried about with him is that Bats is probably not going to start game week 1. He's just getting here. And then Eze did his groin. So
yeah, he got hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a big deal for Eze. I mean, he might play game week 1. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any follow-ups. But he was named to the England squad and then he pulled out or whatever. But if they're not playing... If both of them don't play, then we're just the same shit-ass fuck that we were last year.
It might take 2 or 3 weeks or something.
Yeah. So that's why I'm hesitant, and he's not secure in my squad. But I think that Wilf, he's been playing out of position up top, and 2 years ago when he finished with 10 and 11, he was playing at a position up top, and he was really good. And he's looked really.
The thing about that season also is he wasn't up top the whole year.
Yeah,
but like when he was is when he got all his points. Like he was so good up top that year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just back to what we were talking about having other players to take the focus off the defense off of Wilf, and that is really big for him because normally he's triple teamed and he has no one to pass to because we're fucking horrible. So, at $7 million, he's similar to me of like DCL, of a player that you could just jam in there and not worry about like it. And there's no really bad fixture for him because all he does is hit on the counter.
Yeah.
So like the bad fixtures are sort of like the home bankers for us because those are usually games where we struggle to score a goal in.
Yeah.
But, the bad fixtures are the ones where they're good for him. So he's looked really good in preseason, playing up top. I definitely think that he's like not fashionable because he's kind of past it, and he used to be cool and now he's not cool. Yeah, he's on Palace. But with Eze and Bats, that's a big deal. I mean, that's a really big deal. Those are three players who you can't put one player on and feel good. Like they will fuck one guy up all three of them every time. I like Wolf a lot at 7. I really like. I don't like Eze at all as a pick for FPL. I think he's just going to be more like tricks and growing pains. But Wolf and Bats maybe later. But I like Wolf a lot. I mean, I might just start with him, but I'm still not sure.
Okay. Johnny Two Chins. He said, how do I stop myself from falling in love with all the sexy, fun guys and then uncritically keeping them in my team forever despite endless streaks of fucking blanks when there are more obvious cuntbag players that score points every week? Sexy guys give me a hard on, but points are fun as well. Talk some sense into me. And it's similar to the other question, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're
simultaneously listening to the right pod and the wrong pod at the same time.
You need to listen to it, and then at like the 30-minute mark, listen to some other pod.
Exactly, yeah. Listen to our pod for like jokes, I guess. Fat said, question specifically for Alana. Okay. Do you think pod partners missing out on anything by avoiding the Leicester's opening fixtures? So Leicester started the season, West Brom, Burnley, City, West Ham, Villa. Not just those 5. I mean, yes, obviously, yes. I think Vardy will probably score goals in that run, and they'll probably keep a bunch of cleans in that run. I've had Justin in as one of my 4-5s. Seems very simple to go that way. I'm very concerned about the fitness of their players. Like, we saw how bad they are when they don't have their creative players. Pereira's still out for a while, and Madison's like 50-50. So without those two, then no, I think Vardy won't score goals, and they'll still be bad. But Madison seems like he might play Game Week 1. Maybe he's back for Game Week 2. Vardy will probably score goals against those bad teams. He always does. So, yes, but I don't think it's like a big deal. There are more viable players in the game than ever. I don't think like not going Vardy is going to kill him or something. It's weird talking about you and like third person.
I'm not here.
Yeah. I don't think it'll kill him. And then I look right at you. Balsky,
still alive, confirmed.
Yeah, I don't think I'll kill him. And Wesley Morgan's like behind you with like a fucking thing. Balsky, how many new players in the league is too many? I'm going with Hamas and Havertz. Is that too much? Great prices. Not enough.
Oh my god.
Let's go.
Okay. Next question.
Alex, last season there were times when it worked by just picking guys playing the worst teams. Who do we think are the worst teams at the start of the season?
Was that only last season? That doesn't work every season?
When I read this question,
good.
No, it's always good. But like, I don't know if that actually is the thing that works in FPL, but we always say it does. We never do it. We're never like, oh, let's just make a transfer to get the guys playing Huddersfield every week and cap them every week. But we talk about it as if it works all the time. But we've never done it.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine to keep doing it.
I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah, I think he asked which team, and I think definitely Fulham, and I think definitely West Brom.
Yeah.
They seem by far the worst 2 teams in the league to me.
Yeah. I agree. West Ham are all sorts.
Who knows with West Ham? Yeah, they have some guys. I don't know. Fiona said, argument to be made for starting without Obbs if you're not going to captain him in Game Week 1 or Game Week 2. If you're not going to cap him, can you make that argument?
Yeah.
It's really hard to make.
No, it's not hard. Why is it hard?
Because he's...
The same thing about Mane or Mo, right?
No, because he has Fulham and West Ham, and they have Leeds and Chelsea.
Okay. I forgot.
Yeah.
But what about the other side of, Leeds might play open, or Leeds will play open and pressing, and they're going to get hit, and Fulham are going to be parked, and Arsenal can't create, that kind of thing. Do you
No,
do you
I
care?
don't take stock in that. No, Fulham were a bad defense in the Championship.
Okay.
And West Ham are a garbage team in general. And Leeds we're talking about, like, they play like Man City tactics. They're not like, they don't concede a lot of shots or anything. They barely concede any shots. Like, they're probably going to lose, but they're good. And then Chelsea are good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Obbs is just it's overthinking it to not go Obbs, I think.
Okay.
Why are you smiling
Because I won't bring that up later, and I'll
you don't
keep
have
Obbs.
You don't
no,
have
I have him, but I was like, I want to talk to Alon about this because I'm not sure now. And
Let's bring it up later. After these questions, I'm going to have to pee, and then we'll bring it up.
I don't want to now.
Okay, Luke Villa. This guy's name is Luke Villa on Discord.
Where's he from?
He must hate Aston Villa. Not from Birmingham. Game Week 1, Pooley and Adams versus St. Max and Dings.
I am stunned that you took this question. We never do these questions.
Yeah, I don't know. I just copy and pasted a lot of things into the thing.
What were they?
Pulisic and Che versus St. Max and Dings. I like Pooley. The fitness.
I think the second's just like
it's so much safer. It's so much safer. Yeah, it's more responsible. More responsible, less fun. Jax, what happened with all the love for Matty Pereira? I haven't seen him in too many tinkers.
It's tough, It's just tough for him to stay there when you put him in because he plays for West Brom, which is a really big problem. And
the chance of success just seems so low.
It seems low. The other problem is that when you're remembering that you're looking at the fixture list from the perspective of a West Brom player, every fixture is really hard.
They're all
really
maroon.
Hard. Yeah. So those are the things that have been troubling me about him.
I mean, listen, it's not a perfect model by any means, but it's just something to base something off of the 538 model. They have West Brom going down at 42%.
High.
It's really fucking high.
I mean, they probably have like Hillary Clinton winning our election by 48% next year too. So I don't know how much I trust that.
It's not perfect, but it's just perspective. We just use this information, put it in context. Listen, what did he get? 17 assists last season in the Championship. Their strikers were Hal and Chaz Austin, each scoring 10 goals.
What are they doing?
They haven't
no striker?
Got any additional players from their championship squad.
They got Diangana,
but they had him last year too.
Yeah, but
so they haven't added any goals, and they went up a division.
They spent their whole transfer budget to keep a player
to keep Pereira. Yeah, literally.
no, Diangana.
Oh, and get Diangana, but also keep Pereira. They had to get him too.
Yeah.
It seems problematic to me.
They got Cal Rob.
Yeah. Okay. Cal Rob hype train again? They're really going there?
No, we're not.
Fat said 31% on KDB, 21% on Bruno. Could Game Week 1 therefore be a relatively low scoring, putting as much in the pitch as possible, give you an early boost? Kind of like it.
Yeah, don't hate it.
Anti-stash.
You jam it in and you put an extra 12 mil or whatever. Yeah, sure. Could be. It's
then say you just target those two players, you get two guys starting, take a -4 in Game Week 2 and get them both in.
I don't like that as much because
I think it's fine though.
But then you're still at the same thing of would you recommend someone taking a hit before they wild card? It's a 1 week punt for a hit. We would never tell anyone to do that.
No, but it's not a 1 week punt. I'm not talking about a team wildcarding Game Week 3. I'm just talking about a normal average team.
No, but after Game Week 1, taking a hit.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Planning it, though.
I think there are worse hits. I think a hit for a premium is always inherently better. Like hitting in KDB and Bruno and being like, I'm definitely keeping these guys till I wildcard.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Better. That's fine.
Let's see. There's like 11 more questions. How are you holding up?
Dude, I'm tired.
I hear and see the yawns.
I'm yawning.
It's late. It's fucking 12:40 a.m. in New York.
Well, it's 9:30 here, so it's past my bedtime.
For you, that's
your excuse?
For you, that's 5 a.m. for me. So,
yeah, basically. I'm good. Let's keep going.
Let's go. Let's pound it out. Mishka said, Saka feels like the last piece of my FPL puzzle. What are your individual thoughts on him versus other 5/5s, including pool midfielders? So I guess he means Keita.
Yeah. I mean, I still think Saka's fine. I'm a little bit more alarmed though because they have a lot of guys.
Yeah, Arsenal people on Twitter, Luca and those kind of people on Twitter are all like, he's not nailed. Dump to it. Like, blah, blah, blah.
Left wing back. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of sketchy.
It's getting more sketchy. The more and more I'm just like, I don't want anything down there.
Stu out really ruined it for me also.
Yeah.
Like that to me, because on the last pod I was saying like he's the safest one. Like he's the one that I have in my team because I think he's the safest and now he's out.
Yeah. St. Max, I mean, he's okay.
Yeah,
he's safe.
He's okay. He's safe to play. He's not safe for points.
No,
and like Newcastle are safe to score goals.
Newcastle, yeah.
Bomber, which player that you don't own has the highest X fear for game weeks 1 and 2? Who are you scared of right now?
I mean,
scared
Mo
of like
Mane.
Missing. Yeah,
Mo and Mane.
It has to be, right?
1,000,000%. Yeah. I don't even want to watch that Leeds.
They're super highly owned, and it's so scary.
I mean, I've been playing with putting one of them back in again.
Even like Robbo. It's just all of Liverpool, basically.
Yeah. I just want Trent.
Like Robbo, 2 assists to Mane or some shit.
Yeah.
Okay. That is on the cards.
Yeah.
Very bad. Noel, other than the lineups, what piece of information do you most want to learn from watching Game Week 1? It's kind of an interesting question.
Yeah. I usually like to look at what the teams are like, how they're setting up. You know, who's setting up to be attacking and who's setting up to be defensive, and then also right within the team, you know, which players are getting into those positions that maybe I wasn't expecting them to.
That's the big one for me.
Yeah, is it like, the Southampton guy who's playing for Stu is doing all this shit? I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Yeah. Like, who's that guy? Or,
that's always it for me because we're never the type that's like X scored the points. Like everyone should get that guy. It's more like, this guy had 10 touches in the box and took 6 shots, even though he didn't score. Like, that's insane. Like,
that's like Cal Rob.
That's alarm bells. Yeah, Cal Rob. We can skip some of these.
I want to talk about our teams, and I'm fucking tired of the questions.
All right, yeah, let's stop with the questions.
We
did most of them. I think it's okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's okay. So, how's your team?
You.
My team is... I haven't tinkered that much. I think from the time I'm done editing the podcast through all of tomorrow, I'm going to be doing the majority of my tinkering. But my team, as of right now, is a 4-3-3. I have 2 4-5s in midfield for just bench, and then, obviously the last defender will be the other bench. My forwards have not been moved. It's Werner, DCL, and Tony. Mm-hmm. I've tried moving them, to be honest. I've fucked with Che. I've fucked with, saving a spot for Kuhn by going with, Kane or something, or just anything. And I just love these guys. I love the value, and I love the teams, and I love the situations. I think they're all very underpriced and very good. Well,
do you have Tony over Bruno?
Yeah, I mean, I have Tony, and I don't have Bruno, yeah.
Are you happy with that?
I'm ecstatic with it. I think Bruno's great, and every team that I have no problem with him as an asset. I'm just for $1.5 million less, and just the percent more that I love Tony. Yeah, it's worth it to me. I think $1.5 million is a fucking lot.
A lot.
If you just think about it, for an individual team, right? If I went Tony to Bruno, so I have to turn one of my 4-5s into Bruno. $6 million, and then I have to find $1.5 million from somewhere else in my team just to turn Tony into a non-playing player.
Yeah,
that's a fucking ton.
That's a good argument.
To me, it's just not like I don't. Because
I've been playing with that, and I still just feel very nervous to not have Bruno because, again, right? This is like the post-mortem shit where it's like everyone has Bruno, everyone and their dog has Bruno, and he just prints points every week. Assist, goal, blank, assist, double assist, goal, assist, like
every week.
So, I mean, that's why I'm like, the 1.5's a lot, but he doesn't. It's like Tony's points are contingent on his skill. And Bruno just like gets points.
Yeah, I know. Listen,
it's like he gets pens, side passes, like bullshit. Like, okay, direct freeze, but he just gets all this bullshit.
He's great. In the restart, I brought it up last week. In the restart, like Tony had a higher involvement than Bruno. Like, I think that is underrated. Like, I think we're underrating the fact that Tony is still like the central striker at the end of everything. At the end of every move, Tony is there.
And Bruno's the peripheral. Like, he does a side pass, he could be there, could not be there.
Listen, like, a lot of Bruno's points were like side pass to Greenwood screamer from 25 yards. Not very reliable. You know, like, he was way over his XA, probably for most of them, probably to Greenwood, you know? Tony's points were just like, he's so good. This is all repeatable. He's at this level. He could score 25. So I'm just like, I just love him. I think he's just a great pick. Werner, we've spent enough time talking about. DCL, we've spent enough time talking about. I love them both. Werner's so underpriced, so good. I mean, if you listen to the gambling pod I mentioned earlier, like, I'm on him for Golden Boot. I think it's reasonable. And yeah, DCL, love him, love the situation, love the team, love the manager. It's just great.
Yeah, no, DCL and Werner I haven't played with at all.
You haven't?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Martial, I mean, I feel like I have no leg to stand on to go back to with Bruno. Like, what? I mean, what you're saying makes sense. There's just
so many. More than ever, there's so many good guys that I think there's so many good options in FPL. Like, there are a million teams I've seen on Discord with Bruno where I'm like, fantastic team. And people DM me all day on Twitter and Discord. So majority probably have Bruno. I'm just like, great team. Looks great. I have no problem with it at all. Like, if you sent me a team that had Che instead of Tony and Bruno instead of whatever, I'd be like, great team. But this is just how it's fallen for me. Yeah. Midfield, my midfield three is Obbs, Kevin, and James.
Sounds good.
Yeah, like Obbs, very easy. Trying to not overthink it. Most expensive player in the game. Means I can transfer him to anyone after the first 2 game weeks where he has incredible fixtures. Raz. Yeah, maybe Raz, maybe Mo, maybe Mane, maybe Bruno. They're all very real options. That's easy. Kevin, I'm not sure I'll start my season with him.
Kevin, so you don't have Kai?
Yeah, I don't have Kai. That's it. Because remember I was talking to you, like, I'm considering game week 3 wild card because I don't know. I mean, that might be my game week 3. It's like Obbs and someone to Kai and someone. Yeah,
Mahrez or something.
That's very real. Like, okay. And then I go to that just changes to a 3-4-3 instead of a 4-4-3. I mean, instead of a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
So I don't have Kai. I'm just like not positive he's going to start or play a lot of minutes or whatever. And then he has Liverpool, and I'm just like, I'll just wait. But again, I'm going to be tinkering all day tomorrow. Who knows what this turns into? I have Kevin. I'm not sure I'll start with Kevin. I know that in my head I want to just hold him blindly and never move his spot for every week of the season. I'm not sure I'll start with him because obviously he blanks, but that's kind of just where I'm at with him. It's like, I know I want him, and I'm trying to listen to that, you know, instead of just spreading him to Kai and other guys. I'm trying to listen to that.
And then it's that much harder to get him. But with Obbs, though, he's still like, that's the move.
But the thing with Obbs is that spot is like my captaincy spot. And
Kevin's captainable, though.
He is captainable.
So is Werner. So is Martial.
But the difference with Kev is that I never want to get rid of him. Yeah. And the difference with Obbs is I'm 100% getting rid of him. And then the guy I get after him even if I'll get a guy if he has one good fixture or 2 or 3 and for a captaincy and then get rid of him again. Whereas Kevin, like, I know I'll never want to get rid of him. It's basically never right to get rid of him. Shout out to Jeff D.
I agree. I agree with that generally. Fucking Kevin, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so hard. And then James, I just put in
what
like
about
2 days ago. Well, Raz, I consider in that captaincy range.
So you want 2 really expensive players, though, then?
Yeah, I mean, that's the ob spot. You know, like when...
Oh, because you have both. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so when the City have whatever, West Brom home, whatever it is, I'll do that spot to Raz and captain him or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
James, I put in like 2 days ago. I don't know. We both are really high on him. This is not 100% locked in my team. Don't even know if he's going to play game week 1, honestly. It's probably stupid, but I am really high on his season totals. I think he's good. And then my defense, I don't know how interesting it is or how solid these picks are, but it's basically Trent, Dyer, and 3-4-5s as of now.
What 4-5s? Because I could use some inspiration with that.
So I have Justin, which is on your no list.
Yeah, obviously I'm not having him, but who else do you have?
4 out of their first 5 are just incredible. Is really all it comes down to. And his attacking stats are actually really good. His defending stats, not so good. KWP, same with McCarthy. Really good early fixtures. Really like the player. Nailed. Easy. And then I have Burn.
What about Bruno? I mean, I'm sorry, what about Vinagre?
I ripped him out. I ripped him out.
It's too much shit.
Okay, I didn't tinker as much as I wanted to before this episode, but what I did do is listen to an hour-long Wolves podcast because I was so torn up about this. He basically said for Marcel, he's not going to set the world on fire, like he's 31, blah, blah, blah. But he's versatile. He can play left center back. He can play left wing back. I think he'll start left wing back to start the season. Vinagre's been allowed to leave the club. Those were words.
All right.
So I was just like, okay, not interested.
That's enough.
Yeah, apparently on their to-do list, number 1 thing is buy a right wing back, and they consider left wing back like boxed, which is mental to me, and I don't understand it, but it's enough for me to just be like, I'm not going to risk it.
I mean, I guess they just don't want to commit real money for someone for a short term before John comes back.
Yeah.
Because they have to pay Mendes.
Yeah, I mean, they can't not buy Fabio Silva, who's played 100 minutes in Portuguese league, 35 million. They can't
reallocate the Mendes money.
Like, it's beyond me that what they do is like not illegal. Like, they're literally money laundering.
It's corruption.
Like, there's a Portuguese team who's in trouble and going to go under FVP. In this case, it's Porto. Let's just buy 2 of their players for like a combined 80 million, even though neither of them have ever played.
Like, Mendes, like, you're based in the Cayman Islands. Like, great. Like, don't even have to pay tax anymore for it. Like, it's who knows?
Just money laundering. It's insane.
That's great. It's great though. I'm here for it.
I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So that's where I'm at on those. Burn is like, they have Chelsea. They have Chelsea and United in 1 and 3. They just have some other good fixtures to surround that. Like
no, but not why Brighton, but why Burn? Like, how come it's Burn and not Webster
I had trouble with this. White. Maybe you have more insight, but I think other than Dunk, he's the most nailed.
Why?
Because we don't know if it's back 4 or back 3.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of center backs and multiple guys who can play right wing back or right back. Yeah. And Burn is the only guy who's ever played left back and left wing back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, between Webster, White, Veltman, center backs. So
did Burn play left wing back in the Chelsea game?
Oh, I don't know about it in the Chelsea game, but he did last season multiple times.
That was March and Veltman. Did March play left wing back?
I don't know. I should look back on that. Yeah. And then it's like Lamptey, March. I don't know. Some other randos and stuff. I just felt like Dunk was the most nailed behind Dunk, but I might be wrong.
Burn behind it, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in their first 6, they have Chelsea, Man United, and Everton, which are bad. But they also have away Newcastle, away Palace, home West Brom, which are fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's easy. He's like good. Like Brighton in general, I think are a good like rotational team.
Yeah.
For those. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have McCarthy and Button. West Brom Button.
Benny.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's very different with the setup, I think, having the Obbs and Kevin.
It's a weird one for me, too, by the way.
Yeah. It could be good.
I almost just spit my water out when you said that. Yeah, it could be good. Like, lol. I asked Late Riser in DM. I was like, dude, what do you think about me just copying your team? And he was just like,
copy his team,
and he was
whatever.
like, I'm a slow starter. And I was like, fuck, I need fast Riser 12 for the first half of the season, late Riser second half of the season. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird strategic thing that I'm trying to stick to. That's the best I can give you.
that's enough. That's perfectly adequate.
I mean, it's a kind of weird because game week 1, I'm going to be starting like Harrison Reed.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, you and me both.
Yeah, I mean, so that's another reason to maybe do something else for Kev and then transfer him in, but I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's still points game week 1 versus transfers and points game week 2.
I want points in both.
Well, you're not going to get that if you have Kevin because he only plays one of those games.
Got it. So I should probably get rid of him.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
We'll get there. All right, so I don't know. That's my unsettled 11 for now. What about you? What's your team looking like? I haven't heard in a while.
I mean, the amount of changes from now to deadline tomorrow is so many.
X change has never been higher.
Yeah. But, Werner and DCL definitely feel pretty good. Haven't really played around with them. And then I have Brewster. I have a 4-5 dead guy next to them.
Okay. So talk to me about Brewster. Like, what's the logic there? You're just hoping that he gets transferred, or is that part of the strategy, or is it just he's the best 4-5, whatever?
Yeah. That's the strategy.
So if that's the strategy, like why get a Liverpool guy?
Because I still feel like there's a non-zero chance that he goes to some other Premier League team and he's actually a thing, versus the other 4-5 guys I know will never play.
Right.
So,
but there's also a non-zero chance that you want Liverpool guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, but we're wild carding like this and that. There are things. I mean, I'm not completely certain on Brewster. I hear you. I mean, I definitely have thought about that, but because I feel like the chance of him moving, or also just even if he becomes that 15-minute sub, that's better than any of the other 4 or 5 guys.
Don't talk about Connor Wickham like that, dude.
So that's what I have there, and then I have Obbs. I have Bruno still. I'm still sitting with Bruno, and then I have Havertz, I have James, and I have Wilf in mid. So I have like 3-5-2 set up here. Okay. So again, right, like Wilf, I'm definitely not sure about. James, I'm like more interested in holding James because the 2 to 4 fixtures are so good. And by that time, we'll know if it's like, okay, he's someone that you don't fuck around with, or it's like, he's a problem. So I like that, I like that a lot. I feel like we'll know.
Yeah, James is just like he feels weirdly safe to me, even though he's a new transfer and hasn't played his full season in like 5 years. Because the style of player,
he's like Ziyech to me. Too.
Yeah, exactly. He's like Ziyech, except James is like by far the best player on Everton.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like he'll get all the ball.
More.
Like the way that they'll play will be get the ball from the back to James get the ball to Rich and DCL over and over again. That's the play. Yeah.
Or be like the late runner. But yeah. So I like that. And Kai, it's still just believing in his overwhelming quality and capabilities.
Yeah.
I'm not like overthinking that. He's not hurt. Like Ziyech is hurt. So I'm like, okay, we can't have him, but he's just good. And that takes care of itself. And then, defense is really the problems. Like I have Trent, and then I have 3-4-5s, and I have a 4-0, and I have to start 3 of them. So rotating 3-4-5s for 2 spots feels bad, and
rotating
I just don't
3. Yeah, that's like just not enough, right?
Yeah, it's just a little short. So
it would have been fine with
starting
Vinagre, and it's not fine without Vinagre.
Yeah, I'm going to be starting a guy who's like away to mid-table team where I don't feel like they're going to keep it clean like every week, which just doesn't seem like it's too good, but it's also not like a big problem.
It's not that bad, though.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It gets bad if you're starting them like away City, home Chelsea or something. Then it's like they could get less than 1 point.
Yeah. Yeah, so the defense I need to think a little bit more about. And I mean, talking about it with you with Martial is like, okay, I could turn like Bruno and Zaha into like Martial and Pulisic. I'm like, well, that seems better.
That seemes better to me.
So I don't know what I'm doing there. I mean, Pulisic, granted, like maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's Mara. I don't know. But just, I mean, the 1.5 is a lot. So I need to definitely spend some more time there, I think.
Yeah.
Because Bruno, it just goes against, again, right, which we've talked about, it goes against what we look for and what we do when we pick players.
Right.
But that's not always a bad thing.
No, it's definitely not always bad. Yeah, he is one of the most, like, weird players I think that we've ever had to like spend so much time on, because
it's like it reminds me of a little bit,
but it's like the reliance on pens is just unheard of. Like it's just like, I think they'll get double-digit pens, so he's really good. But if they
get 4,
like
it's the worst pick in the game.
10-5 for him is an absolute joke.
Yeah. I don't like that.
I don't like that either, because I don't get Milivojevic every year. But yeah, the data is Manchester United get double-digit pens every year. So
every year,
don't know.
Who are we to make of that? The script writers?
Yeah, it's not like they're
Michael Olivers.
Yeah, they're not changing the VAR guys.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
Oh, God, I don't know. But, like, this is the other thing, too, is, like, I've been on Bruno for weeks, and then we pod the night before, I'm like, okay, now I'm on, like, these other guys, and, like, I don't like that either.
Yeah, what did I say to you right before we started podding? Like an hour and a half ago before we started podding. I said, this is a dangerous pod. This is the most dangerous pod of the season, because we can talk ourselves in or out of anything in the next 2 hours, and that remains to be true.
That's what's happening. I'm changing like key players in my team. I'm changing them all.
Yeah, we could sell each other ketchup popsicles while wearing white gloves, and it's just
wow. All right, I'm cooked, man.
Yeah, I know. It's weird to do a pod 2 days away from the beginning of the season and not talk about like captains and shit, but
so whatever.
There's not going to be a Lambs tomorrow, but I am going to stream tomorrow, and Walsh is going to send me a screenshot of his team before he goes to sleep tomorrow, and that's the best we can do.
Leeds defender, by the way. I could see it.
Leeds defender?
Yeah.
Leeds supposed to be good. But yeah, so we're not going to do Lambs, but we are going to. I'll post screenshots on like Instagram, Twitter, all that shit. That's the best we can do. I don't fucking know, man. I'm not going to be able to sleep. I know that. Any last words, or let's just get out of here?
Well, because you don't drink. I'm going to just drink until I can't see, and then I'll go to sleep.
Yeah, maybe I'll look into something.
Okay. Hey.
Just something. Any last words?
Oh, just check us out.
Check us out. JK, you all already check us out. Great job by all of you.
They don't.
I know, but you got to get used to. That's what I say on the Friday my lives. Bye.